how I lost $200,000 and what that has to do with pornography addiction. This isn't just money. This is your life. This is your marriage. This is your sexual behavior. Stop throwing money away. Stop throwing time and your life away. You will not get that time back. Guys, I'm going to talk to you about how I lost $200,000 last year and what that has to do with pornography addiction. So I'm going to use some hypothetical numbers because I don't want to share how much I actually make or how much all my businesses make exactly, because it just leads to a lot of unnecessary drama online. Okay, I'm here to help you end your out of control behavior. So the real number I lost was $200,000, a little over that. The hypothetical number I'm going to use is $600,000. Okay, so hypothetically, I was making $600,000 a year, and that number had been growing. Like it grew and grew and grew. And then in 2023, I hit this $600,000 number. And for this particular business, I only grew because I was new to the business. So there's some businesses I'm good at stuff, but I was new to this one and I needed the help of a mentor to succeed in it. Why? Because I'm busy doing other things and I just did not have enough time to put towards learning this and learning all the systems. It was easier to work with somebody who had seen the movie before, a person who could guide me through the process, and I could move with speed. So I probably made about $60,000 to $70,000 in this business on my own. And I realized that it was just a struggle to get to $100,000 and above with all the other things I was doing. So I found out about this guy. I actually read his book. I applied a few things and the business grew a little bit. We were just over $100,000. And then I just realized it wasn't going to happen. I was stuck at this, we call it a constraint. And my constraints was just time. So I ended up paying him quite a bit of money. It was a couple of $1,000s a month to help me scale my business. And by scale, it simply meant that he'd grown a business like that one. And so I was meeting with him like a couple of times a month and he was guiding me on how to do it. And I started growing really fast, all the way up to the point that I hit $600,000. And then you know what happened? My ego got the better of me. At $600,000, I started thinking, again, hypothetical numbers, okay? I started thinking, you know what? Really, this guy was just giving me advice. I was doing all the heavy lifting. I was having to figure things out. I was having to take care of the customers. I had to do that. And he was giving me good advice, but by the time I got to like 400 grand a year, I was like, I kind of knew what he was going to tell me next, right? I figured out the business. So do I really need him? I feel like what got me from 400,000 to 600,000, that last $200,000, I feel like that was mostly me. That's what I felt. And so, I decided to stop working with him, right? I decided to stop working with him. And I was like, I can do this on my own. I figured it out. Because here's the thing. If you get to $600,000 a year, even if somebody supported you, like think about it. Like you're good enough. Not many businesses get to that point. Well, I went through last year and I ended up with $400,000. Like it kept getting worse and worse. On top of that, I had no idea what I was doing. All the systems that he had taught me, after a couple of months, it was not working out. I was like, no, I'll figure it out. I'm not going to pay him all those thousands every month. It just kept getting worse. And at the end of the year, when I did the numbers for that particular business, I was down just over $200,000. How crazy is that? And it took me months. It took me, the entire year. I started thinking about going back to work with him, like maybe a few months into last year. And then January, I was debating it. And by the time February rolled around, I had to admit to myself that I had let my ego get the better of me. Because this guy does not run a business that does $600,000. His business does over $25 million a year in the same type of business. But at 600K, I thought I was a big dog and I knew better than him and I did not need his help. Right? Doesn't matter. It's not like I'm really trying to grow that to 25 mil, but that would be nice. So what's the point? Got back on a call with him. He got on a call with me. He doesn't need to get on a call with me. He's doing 25 mil. Right? But he's just that kind of service-minded person. We had a conversation. I dropped the money. And in that first call, that 1 hour call, the blueprints that we mapped out is likely going to get me to $2 million just worst case scenario in this business, in this particular business that we're talking about, right? Um, and my point is this: when it comes to things like pornography addiction, the truth is you can end this behavior on your own. The truth is, in that business, I got myself to just over $100,000 on my own and from reading a book. But it was a lot of hard work. And because I was running other businesses, I was so stressed. Speaking to somebody else who had seen the movie before easily got me to $600,000 and could have kept me going further. The same works with your out of control behavior with pornography. Sure, you can gain some control over your behavior, but really, when you're working with somebody else who's seen the movie before, they'll help you quit your behavior for good. They'll help you set up boundaries. They'll help you fix your relationship. They'll help you fix your porn-induced erectile dysfunction, like all these things. And this isn't just money. This is your life. This is your marriage. This is your sexual behavior. Until today, I still meet men who will get to their version of $600,000, which is they get to like the middle stage of their reboots. You gain some control. When you came in, you were slipping every week. You were going on benders with transgender and with escorts, and all kinds of crazy things were happening on your weekends. Or you were watching pornography for hours. You were doing and viewing pornography. I mean, it was a mess. And then that reduced to once a month. Then there were no involved. And there were no escorts involved. Then you were just masturbating to slip. But you were still doing it compulsively. When you masturbate, it was still compulsive masturbation, and you would continue, and it'd lead to pornography. Not the worst type of pornography, but you were still using images, social media, that sort of thing. And in your head, you begin to think that, you know what, this is way better than where I was before. And my life is so much better. I mean, come on. I wasn't sneezing at, extra 600 grand when you run other businesses. It's nothing to sneeze at, right? That's extra property. That's vacation home. That's nice, right? After taxes, of course. And that's how it feels. It feels good to be like free. Well, my only problem now is some compulsive masturbation. I'm not worrying about drinking alcohol and meeting strange people in hotel rooms. I'm not worried about that level of acting out anymore, right? And so you feel that you can do it on your own, and you step out to do it on your own, and you go from 600 grand to 400 grand. The problem with pornography is there is shame. There was not shame with me from 600 to 400. Oh, there's no amount of shame that's going to let me drop from 400 to 200K, right? And the same would happen with you. But with porn, it's different. It's very private. It's very personal. And so your 400, I've seen men drop to 50K. And with each amount it drops to, with the amount of relapsing that happens, with the more shameful things you do, you dig your heels in further because you can't bear to admit that you couldn't do it on your own. You will form all sorts of rationalizations and justifications as to why you are here. Well, if I was working with JK and Porn Reboot, it would probably still be the same thing. No, it wouldn't. No, you'd probably be permanently free by now. Well, I was kind of still slipping when I was in his program, and I was already a year in. Sure, I wasn't visiting escorts, but I was still slipping every other week. So, I mean, what difference does it make? It probably would have gotten worse. No, it wouldn't. You were in the middle stage of your reboot. It is the longest stage of your reboot, right? I'm sharing this because I was humbled. I was truly humbled by this situation because I made that mistake myself. I got too busy. I got overwhelmed. I did not have accountability. I did not have somebody I was speaking to a couple times a month who would keep pointing me in the right direction because I was not used to it. You are not used to controlling your sexual behavior. And when I say you're not used to it, what I typically mean for most guys is that you are not used to using healthy coping strategies to deal with stress, strong emotions, unresolved issues, right? You're not used to doing that. And it takes time to learn how to be accountable, to ask for help when you slip. It takes practice to do these things. And that was the situation I was in. Now I feel so much happier. I feel so much more in control. And yes, I'm spending a couple of $1,000s more a month, but what I'm going to be gaining in the long run is going to be phenomenal. I learned this particular behavior of investing in mentors from my own reboots. It is what helped me control my sexual behavior. It's what helped me develop intimacy with women. Everything I did, from building up my body to getting into relationships, ending my out of control behavior with pornography, to building every single one of my businesses, I did it with the help of a mentor or mentors. And that is why I believe so strongly in what I do. So if you're one of those men who has slipped or relapsed, who's been in the program or been in somebody else's program, and you think you could do it on your own, but that hasn't been working out for you, stop throwing money away. Stop throwing time and your life away. I was throwing money away, but I was still making money on the side. But you're throwing time away. You will not get that time back. All right? So it's time to stop playing those games. Schedule a call with us or send me a DM, okay? That's my message to you. I got to bring that dinner. Bye.